Right here next to my rear view mirror, you can see my carbon monoxide checker. And I'm waiting for it to come on. It has a calibration mode. So before I start the car, I want to make sure there's absolutely no possibility of any carbon monoxide. So I'm sitting here where there's no cars running, and any second now it should make a really loud beep. And then we are off and ready to go. I just got done fixing the nose cone mount on the front of the transmission. Turned out there was quite a situation with that. We're going to discuss that as soon as we're on the road here. Just waiting for that thing to squeal so that way I can start the engine. There it is. Squealy, squealy. Okay, guess who's ready to go? Me. Okay, currently it shows 0 parts per million of carbon monoxide. So currently, I'm not being polluted. Man, that shifter does feel good. Like butter. Go ahead and go for a ride. Figured this would be a good opportunity to test this shifter out since I fixed that nose cone mount. Kind of interesting what happened. Alright, well, what happened with the nose cone mount was the holes on the transmission actually wallowed out. And I remember the holes being slotted rather than just straight holes, and I thought it had something to do with an adjustment or something. I never paid it much mind. But after talking to a couple people that were watching my videos that noticed when I put that bar underneath that transmission and I shook it up and down, the transmission shouldn't do that. It should actually be fixed with very little motion, almost no motion whatsoever. So anyway, yeah, something was definitely wrong there, and it needed to be fixed. So I asked what's the best way to fix it, and the only answer I got was replace the entire nose cone of your transmission. And I thought, well, you know, I could do that. Uh-oh, we got an ambulance coming up behind me here. Get the hell out of his way. Well, you know, I can replace the nose cone. But first thing I gotta do is take the engine out, gotta take the wheels off, gotta take the rear brakes apart, gotta take the shifter linkage back apart, gotta remove the transmission. Then I have to stand it up vertically and remove the nose cone. And it sounds really easy to describe, but when it comes down to it, it's probably gonna be about an entire day's worth of work pulling and putting it all back together. And I don't really want to deal with that. I just took the engine out. So nobody else had a better solution for me. They all said that what's going to happen is eventually the 2 holes that are at the front of the transmission there are going to wallow completely through the transmission, and it's going to crack. And you're no longer going to be able to use those mounts, so the nose cone will have to be replaced. No alternatives. And I thought for a second, if the problem is that the transmission is able to move in the slots, even with the thing bolted down, the problem is there's a hammering motion that's on it, and that jarring motion causes the bolts to loosen, which then causes it to bang around in the location. By the way, I'm shifting through the gears right now flawlessly. I'm not missing anything. Obviously, I'm not falling into reverse by accident here. Things are feeling really good for the moment. But anyway, the solution is you got to fill the slots. First off, you have to jack the transmission up as far as it'll go, so that way the bolts that are on the mount go to the very bottommost part of the transmission. It actually matches the other transmission that I had that doesn't have the wallowed out holes. But then at the top portion of the transmission, you have to fill that gap. And what's the best way to fill the gap? Well, the answer is I made some slugs. And they kind of had well, kind of a half moon shape, but kind of not. It had the negative of a half moon on the opposite side that would normally be a flat side. And I was able to slip that into the slot after putting a jack under the transmission to get it lifted up as far as it needed to go. And wow, even when I get on the throttle, there's no weird clunks or anything in the back here. Third gear. Excellent. So once I've got it jacked up, put the slugs in, And you say, you know, how are you going to keep the slugs in the spot? Well, the answer is put a really big washer that covers all of it, tighten the bolts down to their specification. And this is the first drive out and about that I've taken in this car since I fixed that. And I can tell right away the shifter feels completely different than it ever has on this car. Even since the last time I fixed it, it feels different. I would say the transmission is more in direct alignment with the shifter linkage rather than having it, you know, be at a wonky angle, which is what it was probably doing, and that's why I would have trouble finding certain gears. And the transmission even had that possibility of twisting in its location, because without that being tight, all kinds of weird shit can happen. And another small thing happens too, because this is a swing axle vehicle. The transmission, or the alignment of the rear end of the car, is actually dependent on that transmission being fixed. If the transmission moves, those axles move, and your rear alignment goes all kinds of wacky. And I noticed that. Sometimes it would pull a little bit one way, and I mean, it was subtle, but it would do it. There, third gear, no problem. Second gear, no problem. And the shifter doesn't even make any noise at all when I push it. It feels like it's in, yeah, it feels like it's soft mounted. It feels like it's rubber. I mean, it's a good solid feel, but when you click it in, there's no clunks, there's no harshness. It just snicks right into place like it's supposed to. Anyway, I slipped in the slugs, I tightened it down with some new washers, put it all back together, and I think it's okay. Now I've stopped that hammering motion, so it should be okay until the next time that I pull the engine out, because the next time I pull the engine out, I'll tear the whole car back apart, and I'll go through everything, and I'll check the, and I'll just replace the nose cone. Now, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but carbon monoxide is showing 0. So there's no carbon monoxide coming into this car at all. Now, Volkswagens do have a little notorious problem, and that is when you turn on the heat, because the heat uses recycled engine compartment air. I shouldn't actually say recycled, but it comes out of the engine compartment and actually blows through engine components to get it to the front. In fact, it actually blows off of the outside of an exhaust pipe. So Volkswagens are notorious for exhaust getting into the heating system. So let's go ahead and turn on the heater, and let's see just what happens to the carbon monoxide. I got a feeling it'll go up. It'll probably go up kind of quickly. Ooh, that... Hey, welcome back to the Midday Q&A. I'm your host, the Duckman. We're back today with a question that came to me. Am I worried about driving Volkswagens due to the fact that they fill up with carbon monoxide and that I could die? The answer is no. But let's find out if the car actually is, because right here in my hand I have a carbon monoxide tester, and it tests the air within parts per million and gives you little alerts as to when it comes up. Now, the EPA says that anything above 9 parts per million for an extended period of time is considered harmful. Anything over 50 is considered potentially lethal, and anything over 100 is an environment you definitely don't want to be in. But we got the little tester here. We're going to go ahead and take the fastback for a ride. We're going to test it with the windows down, the windows up, and with the heater on. And I suspect with the heater on, it's probably going to leak some carbon monoxide in, because I usually do smell exhaust. But it's going to be an interesting test nonetheless, and I can't wait to see the results myself. So if you guys want to see a little more about it, anyway, stick around. You probably saw from the intro, I've already driven the car, so... But thanks for watching, really do appreciate it. Don't forget to check out duckshit.net for my other social media links. Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll be back in the car. Alright, you guys have to excuse me just for a second. I had to pull over to clear some old recordings out of my SD card. Turns out I had a whole bunch of old stuff in there, and it caused the camera to shut off while I was driving. So anyway, we're going to head up the street here in just a second, and we're going to pull the heater back on, and we're going to retest the carbon monoxide tester here. It didn't budge from 0. but I also didn't have it on for maybe 10 seconds before the SD card filled up. And why is this guy just sitting here? You're about to get beeped. Come on, quit being a douchebag. Get back in your car. Come on now, there's nobody coming. You're being an asshole. And the whole side of his car has been crashed. What in the f is going on over there? Total madness. Alright, can't find third gear again. I don't think the nose cone mount is the only problem. Looks like we might have a different issue here. Either that or something moved. Why are you driving sideways down the road? F***ing stupid people out here today. Looking in my rearview mirror, he's driving right into the bus stop. Anyway, once again, still 0 ppm on the carbon monoxide. Let's go ahead and pull the heater. The heater's on now. This thing should start flashing a warning light after 9 ppm, after an extended period of time. I forget how long. If you have brief amounts of carbon monoxide, or even if it's high, but very briefly, you don't necessarily get affected by it. But anyway, 9 ppm over an extended period of time, the EPA considers that a health hazard. So let's see just what happens. Oh, it's going up. There it is. 19, 21, 23, 24, 26. And this is with the heater on, and I'm just kind of cruising. It seems to have capped out right at about a 27. And I can smell exhaust. I always have with this car when I pull the heater. But since I live in Florida, I don't usually run the heat on. Okay, it's at 40. There's definitely a exhaust is sneaking into the car. That's going back down now. Interesting. I think if I get harder on the throttle, it'll probably go up. Yep, needs more exhaust. Well, that's interesting. It just kind of goes up and down. Yeah, it was just a glare I was seeing. I didn't actually see a warning light. There's third, there's second, and there's first. The shifter feels just fine right now. There's the warning light. That's what I was telling you. When that thing starts flashing, let you know that you have a carbon monoxide level that's considered dangerous for a certain amount of time. Now it's dropping. I turned the heater back off. The heater is not something I ever run in Florida anyway. I am going to have to go deal with the exhaust leakage that I do have. It'd be nice to find it. It might be a heater box problem, or it could just be a hole in one of the tubes that connects the heaters to the body. Or it could also be that the exhaust just manages to get into the gills on the sides of the car, and it's sucking it up. Roll this window back down. This is the season to have your window down anyway. Yeah, I wonder what the not finding third gear shit is all about. Why does that keep happening? It's weird because the gear is not there. You just can't find third. It's like you're hitting a brick wall when you push the shifter to third. You'll find fourth, but you can't find third. And then during that time, if I snick it over to the left-hand side and try to put it in the second, you'll hit reverse. Oh, never mind. I hit the brick wall and then it went right past it. And carbon monoxide's falling right back down now. 12, 10, 9, and the alert should start going off, or turning itself off. There it goes, back to 0. So anyway, the tester certainly does work. The heater on this car does need to be fixed. But during typical driving, which is without the heater on, because I never turn it on, I would say that this car is not polluting me or poisoning me or doing anything crazy. Oh my God, what in the hell's going on here now? Holy shit. Okay, looks like I'm going this way. The whole damn intersection's closed. Wow, okay. That's record. I have to go down the street and have a look. I wonder why that's all messed up. Boy, today seems to be the day to put the camera on the car. Holy shit. Ugh. All kinds of people doing all kinds of stupid things today. It must have been a wreck or something. I'm not seeing any other reason for all this. Yeah, well, you know, I'm not really sure. But they actually blocked the entire intersection from 2 different routes. And it's all state police. This means it was probably an accident. Oh yeah, massive car crash. Holy shit. Oh my god, that's a bad one. Let's see if I can swing the camera past that way one time for you guys to see it. Massive car crash. And a lunatic driving straight at me. Oh my god. Look at that one. Oh my god. Boy, I'm glad that's not me. Oh my god. Let's see if I can give you a better view here. Yeah, that's not just any car crash. That is major. Oh my god. On Easter of all days, you know, a holiday here. You want everybody to go home to their families. I feel bad for whoever that happened to. All of them, my word. Alright. I'm just glad it wasn't this car. Whew, I would have got destroyed. Alright, we're rolling again. My god, that's one of the worst wrecks I think I've seen in town. I mean, I've seen some pretty bad ones, pretty gnarly on the interstate from people moving at a high rate of speed, but wow. In town, that's probably one of the worst I've seen. Anyway, continuing on the way, be grateful. You know, hug your kids, hug your pets, hug your wife. Hell, hug your husband. He's the one that goes to work every day to support your family, probably. Yeah, some feminist out there is probably going to be mad for me saying that, but you know what? Sorry. Sorry. Alright, we're going to make a right-hand turn here and sneak back around the other way. Just, I can't believe that. Oh my god. That wreck was something else. Carbon monoxide's come up a little bit, but I'm sitting here with the window open behind another vehicle. I'm probably picking up his exhaust. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. I'm smelling exhaust. It's not mine. So anyway, this is a handy little tester. I got it because some people were going to tell me that my old Volkswagen is going to kill me or cause me cancer or some other shit. There's all these people on Facebook and YouTube and, well, just internet people in general that all think they have all the answers. So I spent myself a little bit of money here to prove them wrong. And obviously, there's no pollution right now. Well, as far as carbon monoxide is concerned getting into the car, but it's pretty safe to assume that if I'm not getting carbon monoxide from the exhaust, that I'm also not getting the other chemicals that are mixed with it too. It'll turn this way. Yeah, still zero. God, there's just cops everywhere today. I'm able to find all the gears. It won't let me put it in the first, of course, prematurely. You have to slow down below a certain speed and then it'll let you drop it in there. And there it goes. It won't let me put it in the first, no problem. I notice all Volkswagens sometimes are a little quirky though. You got to put them in the second before you put them in the first. Sometimes that's a symptom of low transmission fluid. In my case, there should be plenty in there unless I got a weird leak. I don't think that I do. Probably should be something I should check. I haven't actually been in there in about a year. So I'll unscrew the little screw on the side there and see if anything drips out, and put my finger in and see how far down it is before you hit any fluid, and top it off as necessary. Everybody's all driving fast, not expecting to see a wreck up ahead. Alright, I thought I could get up all the way to the traffic light, but apparently you cannot. So weird that sometimes I still can't find third. But I mean, in general, I mean, the improvement is tremendous. Even when I have trouble pushing into third, the rest of the gears are really easy to find, and then they were never quite this good. They never felt this good. I definitely did something by fixing that. Now I just need to come up with a solution as to why the hell third is wonky. Yeah, maybe something is bent or out of place inside of the transmission. And it's so weird, it doesn't even do it but one time in this ride today, as I have the camera out here. It only did it once. Saw another cop over here earlier. Where is he? Oh, he's gone now. Alright. All the gears working flawlessly yet again. Well, if you were going to come over, lady, you should have gunned it. Instead, you hesitated. Yeah, all the gears feel good. Shifter feels nice and snug in the tunnel. There's no excessive play. First gear, no problem. When the hell did they open a Dunkin' Donuts over there? And off to the left there. That never was there before. I don't even remember seeing them build it. And I'm only like, oh geez, 3/4 mile from home? When the hell did they build that? And why in this neighborhood? Really interesting they put it there of all places. But it's nice to know there's a Baskin Robbins over there. We get some ice cream with a date or something one night. Girls freaking love their ice cream. Guy waving a flag. I'm not familiar with what flag it was.
starvation problem here I need to deal with too. And I talked about in one of the previous recent videos that there's a T at the end of my carburetor fuel supply, and it goes to the return line of the fuel injection, and it has a little slug in it that I soldered into it. It's just tin, and I drilled a little pinhole through it, and I think maybe it got eroded by the gasoline. So anyway, I gotta go in there and just, I guess, solder it back closed again and drill a little pinhole through it. And the only reason I do that is just for pressure relief when I turn it off. So any residual pressure that's still in the line goes away. Yeah, I got a feeling that hole opened up and it's actually reducing the pressure to the carburetors. So I'm losing some fuel volume. And when you run it at a higher RPM with a wider throttle position, the engine begins to starve, and it doesn't always do it. It doesn't always do it. It's just a once in a while thing, and it's usually after I've thrashed it a little bit. If I would just gas it right now, I'd be fine. But if I continue to do it, then all of a sudden it'll start to burble. So that's probably what it is. Well, I think the carbon monoxide test on the Volkswagen has passed. The shifter, well, it only missed third that one time. Just the one time. Here it is, third again. No problem. Back into third. This guy's going so slow, I almost have to put it in second. It's one of those times you wish you had that extra gear between second and third. Second was too high. Well, it was too high RPMs, and third was dropping them too low for no power. And we're home. As always, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, plug that dingle belly, check out duckshit.net for my other social media links. And thanks for watching. Really appreciate it.